On a night out at a nightclub in Thailand, Chloe is with her friend Jane when she receives a message from her sponsor asking her to meet him. Chloe decides to bring Jane along and the two get into the car. Shortly after, Jane asks where Chloe is, and the scene then cuts to a girl named Karissa who lives on a farm and helps take care of the horses. Karissa has a younger sister named Charlotte. Both of them have accounts on a social media platform called Fame. Charlotte takes a photo of Karissa and posts it on Fame, adding some hashtags. At dinner, their father mentions that he's planning to work at the warehouse to help with the farm expenses. But Karissa says he won't be able to handle working since the day he fell. Besides, they have a debt of $400,000. After dinner, Karissa starts looking for a job when Charlotte shows up and notices that the photo they took earlier of Karissa is getting a lot of likes. Among those likes is one from a guy named Jack, who is one of the biggest influencers on Fame. Charlotte explains that if Karissa gets more likes, she might attract a sponsor and start earning money, which would help her father pay off debts. Before going to sleep, Karissa takes a picture holding her guitar and posts it on Fame. The next morning, when Karissa wakes up, she discovers she has gained a lot of followers. Besides that, she receives a message from Jack saying he liked her profile. He offers to collaborate with her, and when she explains that she lives in South Dakota, he says that sponsors could cover her trip to Thailand so she can join other influencers. Moments later, Karissa tells her dad and her sister about the news and explains that she could earn money from the sponsors. Her dad, however, feels a bit suspicious about it being in Thailand. But soon she changes her mind and agrees that Karissa should travel. Karissa tells Jack that she accepted the idea, and he informs her that a limousine will pick her up to take her to the airport. When Karissa arrives at the airport in Thailand, she meets a guy named Jenner, who was also invited to the influencer's house, and then she meets Miami and a beautiful model named Kimberly. The three of them get into a jeep to head to the house where they will be staying. As soon as Karissa arrives, she grabs her phone to take a picture of the scenery, but Fiona stops her and quickly asks for everyone's phones so they can be checked and monitored by the sponsors. Then Jack appears, welcomes the guests, and reinforces Fiona's point about the phone checks, explaining that the sponsors need to monitor what they post. He then announces that this week's sponsor will be Vrap Vodka, which will cover the costs of drinks, outings, and parties. Karissa is surprised as she thought she was only traveling for a collab. But Miami explains that all of this is already the collab. After all, with all those people she would get more views, and with that, new sponsors would pay her to show their brands. Hours later, Jack goes to Karissa's room to call her for the meeting. On the way, Karissa remembers that he promised to help her family, and she mentions the $400,000 farm debt. But Jack says that it's possible for her to pay it with the money she will make from the sponsors. But she will need millions of followers because 18,000 is still very little. After they get their phones back, Jack informs them that they can take as many pictures as they want, and they will select the best ones to post on Fame. The only thing they shouldn't do is go to Old Town because it's very dangerous. If they see someone with a red bandana on their arm, they should stay away because they are a group from outside the country involved with crime. Hours later, Karissa goes to the seaside for the first time and takes a photo to post on Fame. Then Jack appears to take a photo with her so she can get more followers on Fame. At dinner time, before eating, everyone takes pictures of their lobster dishes to post on Fame. After toasting and eating, they head straight to a party, where everyone has fun, drinks, and takes photos that are controlled in a room by Fiona, who decides which ones will be approved or not. Minutes later, Karissa complains that her shoes are hurting her, and after taking them off, she goes back to continue drinking and dancing a lot. When she opens the Fame app, she realizes she's reached 100,000 followers. In the control room, Fiona feels jealous when she sees Karissa with Jack, but she approves the photo because it shows the sponsor. Moments later, Karissa thinks she's dancing with Jack, but in reality she's dancing with one of the members of the Red Bandana group, since she's drunk. She then pulls away, and when she falls, the scene cuts to Karissa waking up in her room. She is informed by Miami that she drank too much, and she reports that she needs something because she has a headache, but Miami says they will go to Old Town. Karissa remembers what Jack said, but even so, they go to a restaurant in the city. Jenner says it's very hard to compete with the other influencers in his category because they are big, and Jenner refuses to take steroids. Then the group from the Red Band enters the restaurant and ends up causing trouble with the seller. When Jenner gets involved in the mess, they approach, and one of the guys recognizes Karissa and says that he even danced with her, but she doesn't remember what happened. Then Jenner stands up and strikes one of the group members, and at that moment, Jack appears to interrupt the fight and explains that the three of them are with him. After returning home, Karissa thanks Jack for saving them, and then Jack brings the news that the sponsor is already at the house and will want to meet everyone. The CEO of Vrap Vodka, named Daniel, is introduced to everyone, and since he liked some of their posts, he will choose someone to represent the Vrap Vodka brand, which has a $500,000 contract. However, it is required to have 1 million followers, which discourages Karissa. When the meeting ends, Fiona pulls Karissa aside and reprimands her, saying that Jack is hers, leaving her scared. But Kimberly tries to calm Karissa down and informs her that Fiona and Jack broke up over 2 years ago. Karissa then receives a message from her sister saying that their father is in the kitchen having trouble sleeping. Furthermore, the father returned to work at the warehouse and ended up hurting his back. Given this situation, Karissa promises that she will get the sponsorships. When Miami enters, Karissa explains everything that is happening with her family, and that's why she is there to get the sponsors. Miami also says he is there for his younger sister because he wants to get her out of the old neighborhood, and that he does everything for her. At this moment, Karissa sees that she is still at 200k followers and thinks she'll never reach 1 million, but Miami gives her an idea, and they go shopping. After Karissa tries on some clothes in the store, she finally finds a more stylish and daring dress. That night, another party takes place and Karissa keeps dancing with Jack, making Fiona more and more jealous. This anger leads her to not approve some photos. To gain more followers, Karissa grabs a bottle from the sponsor and takes a very sensual photo. That night, when he picks up her phone, she sees that her brother liked the photo she posted, and feeling embarrassed, she decides to delete it. At that moment, Jack enters the bathroom, and as things are heating up between them, the alarm goes off, alerting security to head to the pool. When they arrive, the Red Bandana Group is being held captive for attempting to break into the place. The guy says he came because of Karissa, but Fiona explains that Karissa is part of her group. When the guy tries to say something about Fiona, she kicks him. Then it's announced that the police are on their way and that no one should leave in case they need to answer some questions. After the police arrive, Fiona lies, claiming she didn't know those guys and that it was probably an attempted robbery. One of the security guards says he knew her, and that's when Fiona discovers that Jack went to Old Town, but he lies, saying he just went there to eat a gay too. The police officer shows Jane, who is the girl from the beginning of the movie that is missing, and mentions that cases like this have been increasing in the area. However, no one there knows her except for Chloe, who was with her, but she also lies. The next day, Jack takes Karissa on a trip, and when they are together, they begin to kiss, but suddenly Jack leaves without giving any explanations. Meanwhile, Chloe is feeling guilty for what she did to Jane as she brought the girl there, and as a reward, Daniel sends Chloe a transfer of $100,000. At that moment, Jack enters and says he doesn't want to be part of the scheme anymore, and Fiona reveals that it was her who planned this because she wanted to help Jack pay off the debts he owed to Daniel from a card game. Then Daniel sends him $1 million, and it is revealed that the scheme consists of one of them bringing a person to the house for Daniel to negotiate with a client at an auction, and Karissa will be the next one to be auctioned. Jack then leaves and goes to Karissa's room to tell her what is happening and that he only accepted this proposal to pay off the debt he had with Daniel. He also mentions that he met Fiona in this dirty world, and at that moment they both hear shouting. As they are leaving, Karissa says she won't leave behind Miami, Jenner, and Kimmy, but it's already too late as they've taken Kimmy, Miami, and now they are taking Jenner. However, he manages to escape, and now he also knows what's going on. Moments later, as they are about to enter the house, Daniel shoots Jack in the leg, and then Fiona sedates him. Before sedating Karissa, she says that she will belong to a Russian, and after he tires of her, she will be sold to a sheik in Dubai. Hours after Jack wakes up, Fiona tries to distract him, but he says that those people don't deserve to be sold, and then he leaves the room. Meanwhile, an auction is taking place to sell some influencers. The influencers start being introduced by the host, and then the bidding begins for Kimberly. A sheik ends up winning her for $3 million. When Karissa wakes up, a security guard tells her to change clothes because she'll be the next to be announced. Jack manages to reach the yacht and takes down some guards. Just as Daniel is getting ready to engage with Karissa, one of the guards interrupts to say something important. Moments later, Jack arrives in Karissa's room to rescue her. He explains that he found her because of the wristband tracking. At that moment, Daniel enters the room, and he and Jack start fighting until Karissa manages to grab his gun. After ordering him to kneel, she strikes him. Karissa then leaves the room, and upon entering another room, she saves Miami's life. When they're together, Miami suddenly grabs one of the rafts and leaves her behind. After they manage to free Jenner and Kimberly, they're about to escape but end up being captured by Daniel and his men. And since Daniel knows that Karissa is out of ammunition, he takes her weapon. Just as Jack is about to be finished off, the police arrive, revealing that Miami left them behind to call for help. Moments later, Chloe and Jack say they're willing to give statements, especially Jack as he knows many of Daniel's accomplices. Faced with this, Karissa is still disappointed because she didn't get the money and her family is going to lose the farm. But Jack says they won't, because when he saw everything that was happening, he transferred $1 million to her account. 3 months after Karissa returned home, her life continues as it was before. Miami managed to get her sister out of the old neighborhood, and Jenner and Kimberly are in a relationship. Then Fiona sends Karissa a message asking if she wants to know where Jane is. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of our next videos. Thanks for watching.